relationship now among them. And if they bump me again, you're the only one I want. All of them, I live on my Betty, oh yeah. She wanna see romance, oh yeah. Her body's so interesting, oh yeah. She get it back from big testing, oh yeah. Falling hard for you, oh yeah. Hard times too, oh yeah. My back too, oh yeah. When you feeling my back too, oh yeah. All of them, I live on my Betty, oh yeah. She wanna see romance, oh yeah. Her body's so interesting, oh yeah. She get it back from big testing, oh yeah. Darling, I'm for you, oh yeah. All for you, oh yeah. My back too, oh yeah. Are you feeling my back too, oh yeah. My baby tell me say, she love my style. She really wanna be the one to walk down. Let me down now, if I ever break your heart. If I ever lie, if I ever leave you, let me cry. Everything going up, you the only one who keeps me calming down. The way you give me peace of mind, I know that you don't ever want to see me frown. Now they got love I'm looking for, doing early time. Where you are, where you come from, where you from come. Son, I must not wanna compare. Oh, no, sorry, what she doesn't compare. Oh, no. Boy, if you force her to show yourself, she will lay you down flat, that's so bad. Oh, no. That's my baby, yeah. You can blow all your own race. That's my baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. All of them, now they want my Betty, oh yeah. She wanna see romance, oh yeah. Her body's so interesting, oh yeah. She get it back from big testing, oh yeah. Falling hard for you, oh yeah. Hard times too, oh yeah. My back too, oh yeah. When you feeling my back too, oh yeah. All of them, now they want my Betty, oh yeah. She wanna see romance, oh yeah. About the interesting, oh yeah. She get it back from big testing, oh yeah. Now I'm for you, oh yeah. All for you, oh yeah. My back too, oh yeah. Are you feeling my back too, oh yeah.
Communication becomes convenient, enjoyable, and cheaper when you have the best application in your hand. The Pro Global Social Media App. 8. Think ZZ. Think quality.
Spicing up. What's next?
Made with ginger, coconut water, natural juice flavor, vitamins and minerals is Muncie Power Drink. Muncie Power Drink helps reduce high blood pressure, get rid of toxins, help improve children and adult memory. It also helps the body fight effects of excess sugar. Muncie Power Drink has no added sugar, no artificial flavors, and all natural ingredients. It is a healthy drink for just everybody. It has 4 natural juice flavors: pineapple, mango, strawberry, and turmeric. For wholesale or retail purchase, visit major supermarkets across Monrovia and its environs. If you are outside Monrovia, you can do your purchase at Kakata Supermarket and Ataro Business Center in Ganta. You can also visit our store on the Old Road, right next to the American School. For more information, call us on 0770 307 572 or 0776 580 730. Muncie Power Drink, not just your regular energy drink.
And I want to carry
Allen Bernard International, or ABR, is a management consulting firm with a team of consultants and associates who focus on growing and transforming home healthcare agencies, nonprofits, and small businesses in other industries as well as individuals. Our services include ABR Business Support Services, ABR Accounting and Tax Services, and ABR Anti-Money Laundering Compliance Services. At ABR, we bring to each assignment dedication and commitment, experience and skills, performance-based process, integrated solution teams, and client relations. For more inquiries on our services, call phone number 469-378-3955. That's Allen Bernard International, or ABR, transforming business through ideas.
Do you need a car
Ready for an upgrade?
Then come to Sika Motors, sole distributors of Toyota vehicles, Mitsubishi vehicles, and Yamaha motorbikes, genuine accessories and spare parts.
You name it, we have it. We have the 2022 brands of Toyota vehicles. Select from our new Toyota Starlight,
Toyota Belta, Toyota Rush.
We've got the best deal in town through our Sika Motors financing schemes with selected banks, EcoBank Liberia and UBA Liberia, starting at the lowest as 500 USD. You won't believe these prices. Come for quality, reliability, and durability. Take a spin and let's make a deal.
Sika Motors on the UN Drive at Sayotown, Bushra Island, or call Sika Motors on +231 775 987 758 or email cmarketing@cfao.com. Sika Motors, drive with confidence.
We all know the headache we go through sending money to our loved ones, friends, and family in Liberia. High fees, long lines in banks, the usual complaint of the system being down, such a waste of time and energy. That is why I was very happy when I learned that SendWave is now in Liberia. So now I can send money anytime from anywhere directly from my smartphone to the MTN Lone Star Cell mobile money account of a loved one, friend, or family within seconds for just a tiny fee. So download SendWave now to your phone from your Apple Store or Google Play Store. Add your details, and don't worry, they are very safe and secure. And start sending money today. Don't forget to insert the promo code COSTA to get free $5 credit added to your first transfer. SendWave is secure, super fast, and by far the most affordable way to send money to Liberia. I'm Henry P. Costa and a very happy customer. Thank you.
Hello, fellow Liberians. This is Joseph Nimba. It is time to be counted for the upcoming general election, and I'm asking you to please make sure to register to vote. Every election is determined by the people who show up and vote. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by people you did not elect. We must never forget the importance of making our vote count. We paid high price for this democracy as a people. Let us protect and defend it. Voting is the expression of our commitment to ourselves, our children, our welfare to this country, and our one world. Please listen out for the dates and the places and go and register to vote. The rescue mission is well on course. When you register and vote, you will think Liberia, love Liberia, and then build Liberia. Again, I say this is Ambassador Joseph Nimba.
Folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends on where you are joining us from. Today is Monday, the 3rd day of the 4th month, AD 2023. With the time exactly 10:30 here, that's 10:32 in Morovia. Let me say good morning to all of our followers in the United States, Canada, and across the globe. And Darlington, you have to unmute yourself. Good morning, Darlington and Bieber, Larry, Kennedy. It's good to have guys on this morning. Darlington, good morning.
Good morning, Buaka, and good morning, Big Bro Larry, for making up time here. It's another interesting and brand new edition of the Costa Show on Monday. We're here to share our perspective and make sense of the issues that are happening across the country. Thank you, Buaka.
Yeah.
Good morning. You guys can hear me loud and clear?
Yeah. Yeah, good.
All right. So I guess, Darlington, you messed up because you should have called him, like Martina always saying, Mr. Kamara. So you messed up on that. That's a fine. We will hold you in contempt for that one. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are holding it down while the Don Pedro is in transit to the motherland. So definitely always a pleasure to join you guys. A little bit early for me because I will soon be heading out to the office, but I will be here and definitely always looking to do my best to educate and inform our people. So glad to be here, guys.
Okay, so Darlington, this issue about protests across government agency is now, make rounds in our country. Last time it was at the Ministry of Lands and Mines. They were protesting on the issue about salary increment, and now for day 2 is at the Ministry of Transport. Today, Friday, today is Monday. Since Friday, they locked the entrance of the Ministry of Transport. They left there throughout the weekend. And then today, they are demanding that no security officer, not even authority of senior officials of the Ministry of Transport can remove that lock until their salary is increased. They are being paid less than $100. That's what they are saying. Less than $100. So they are all out protesting for salary increment.
Well, Boga, this is what you get when you send party loyalists, to land ministry and agency to overburden and outweigh the wage bill, where you cannot even maintain civil servants who were in the original structure of the government. This is what you get. You shouldn't be surprised to see these kinds of things happening. And don't forget to, Boga, to add that even at the Ministry of Information, employees were protesting that they make $50, and even the $50 you're offering them, you're not even paying them on time. You just said it. The wage bill says that you cannot pay somebody, less than 68 cents per day in Liberia. But how do you, take people, especially at the Ministry of Transport, and you pay them below $100, and you're not even offering their salary on time? But you will see more of this, because when these guys took over in 2018, they were concerned about just submitting, party loyalists and Moyan boys. Once you can wear beret, they didn't even care to understand what professional skills you have, whether the ministry needed it to absorb it. Also, we're not saying you can provide empowerment for your people, but there's a way that you recruit people in public service, and that was the way through the civil service agency. And kudos to the Saliva administration. The way they recruited people in the CSA is that, my man, people were not just flooding in public corporation like that. So even people wanted to compete. People would take the CSA test before even becoming public official. Even teachers, for example, when you have a C certificate, they pay you a certain amount. When you have a bachelor's degree, they pay you a certain amount. When you have a master's degree, they pay you a certain amount. What happened? It boosts up. People are very competitive. People were delivering. But if you pay me $75, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be productive.
Absolutely.
You go to government ministries and agencies, by 1 o'clock, everybody going, 12:30, everybody go for lunch. Nobody returns to the office. Because there are very few technical people you hire in those ministries. Instead of when you hire somebody, you must pay them. Look, and that's why economics put it very plainly. A man can be employed, especially when he can be employed, but he can be unemployed. If I'm supposed to make $250 and you pay me $75, how you call that employment? Can my take-home pay take me home? So you will see more of these kinds of protests. And to be honest, the people at this point don't care, because the people know that they are in election time. No minister, no president will order them to be dismissed. They know now the government need them more than they need them. So, you will see these type of things happening. Don't be surprised. Other ministry will start following suit, because all it takes is just a little protest from different ministries and agencies that will pull in and attract more public, protestation. Lastly, before I end on my thought on this point, and that is why you see every time the Ministry of Transport, when it's vehicle inspection, the whole country collapse, because these inspectors, because they are underpaid, they set up these roadblocks that even if you have your vehicle paperwork, they still want bribe from you. When you pay people salary, while people will go register their car, they can't even get that plate for months. And then they will have a paper in their hand from the very Ministry of Transport. When it's time for inspection, the inspectors will be telling them, my man, we see your paper, but you need to do the needful. So everybody looking for crumbs from everybody. Pay these people. And that is why, to ensure that you have effective, delivery capacity of your government, you don't need to increase the wage bill. The public sector cannot absorb everybody. That's the truth of the matter. That's why you empower Liberians who are Liberian business people, so that they can empower people in the private sector. But the whole wage bill, and I see one of our topic is the Secretary General of the CDC, the mayor of the city saying, we'll get to that topic in a separate tea, that if they get re-elected, which is going to be a tough cookie to crack, that they'll only offer a job to their partisan and not opposition. You see, with that mindset, you cannot move a unified country forward. Thank you, Booker.
Okay, so Biber Larry, their protest, this message caught my attention this morning. According to them, we need to see Samuel Tue. This is the message. We are generating over millions of dollars for government every day. Then we are taking low as 70, 80, or less than 150 monthly, which can feed our children and even send them to school. We are degree holders, but we are living on chicken change. This message, Senator always boasts of us having budget surplus. There is no government agency that having gone months without receiving pay. But now, when Ministry of Information, Ministry of Lands and Mines, Ministry of Transport, employees are crying out like this, what message does it send out to the international community or even Liberians that are following the governing process of our country?
The first thing it tells, so there are two things it tells you right off the top, right? The first thing it tells you that they're lying, that they don't have a budget surplus, because you cannot have a surplus and not pay the people. Because if you're not paying the people, then that is in itself a violation of not only the Constitution, but basic human rights. So they don't have a budget surplus. They've always been coming up with shortfall. In fact, in about a week, hopefully within the next week or so, the central bank should be releasing its annual report. So we'll take a look at the central bank's annual report, and we'll really get a chance to see if this government does in fact have a surplus. But we know they do not have a surplus, right? The second thing is the people in power are enjoying their best life on the backs of the poor people. The president flies a private jet. Everywhere he's going, private jet. The private jet he's flying, it costs about $4,550 an hour. I'm not making it up. You yourself, you can find that information, because by law, especially here in the US, every jet has what is called a call number on the tail wing. So when you look at the jet that the president comes in, look at the tailwind, and you will see some numbers on that tailwind. If you take that number and you go to the United States FAA website, the Federal Aviation Administration website, you put that call number in there, because you cannot fly a plane into another country and they don't know where you're coming from. You put that call number in there, not only will you know who owned the airplane that the president is flying, but you will know where exactly that plane is coming from and where it is going. And because I've been able to do that, I know the president is paying $4,550 an hour to lease or charter a plane with his entourage when he does all his traveling. And we haven't seen any money come back or any significant resources come back based on any of these travels. So people are protesting, making about $100 or so, or even less. And it's in fact around $100, because when you look at the data, right, the per capita income, the individual income per person living in the country, is under $700 a year. So people, how can you feed a family on that chump change? And then at the same time, you see the president flying a private jet with an economy that is less than $3 billion. Look at the president of Mexico, Manuel Lopez Obrador. He flies commercial. He doesn't even fly business class or first class. He sits in the back of the plane with just average citizen. He said he wanted to save money. He sold the government's private jets, and they have $1.2 trillion economy. Liberia has like a $3 billion, $1.2 trillion. The man flies commercial. Madam Sirleaf was flying commercial. These people are enjoying their best life on the backs of the Liberians, and Liberians need to wake up. They absolutely need to wake up and see what is happening to them. It's not by accident they're standing out there protesting. The top people in the government are getting paid. And that's not a good mark of leadership when Your children are starving and hungry, but you, the head of the household, you're going out there and you're partying and you're balling.
Yep.
So people need to be educated, and election have consequences. I know it's a saying, but it has consequences. If you turn around and make the same mistake again, you will suffer for another 6 years. There are other countries doing much better now. Countries that came out of Ebola, countries that came out of COVID, they are doing so much better than Liberia. Liberia is not meeting its full potential. And people have a right to protest. It's in the Constitution. Let them protest, and let's see what happens. And you nail it, boycott. It's election year. The government will have. And the crazy thing is, every time you see one of the protests, the Minister of Finance will run to that scene and try to see if he can make. It's like, putting out fires. We saw it happening at the University of Liberia. He ran there and tried to make amends right away to make some payment. So, but that's not how you run a government, So, yeah, boycott. People that will protest, the government doesn't have a surplus. These guys are enjoying their best lives.
Speaking about the University of Liberia, Big Brother Larry, I think on Friday again, retired faculties, a dean and professors, were protesting again for their benefits. Old people. You have a country where when our people aged and it's supposed to be collecting their pension benefit as minimum and petty cash as it is, I would term it that way. And you still found, the government people cannot give them their money. Hey man, you talk about the human the human development capital about $700, right? I just did the math. So it's about 58.33 per month. 700 divided by 12. So it's like people making around less than $60 a month.
Yeah, it's the reality.
Yeah, but Darlington, as we approach the elections, the guys, most especially those in government, the weird administration, they feel that nothing is happening. They feel that everything is okay. Liberians are enjoying, and they caught up a rally. People came out. They saw the numbers. They felt, that the people still love us. What we are doing our best. No matter what the situation.
Which rally are you talking about? Which rally?
They want to just host it at the Antoinette Todman Stadium. They came up. People came out. Let's not rule that out. People came out, and then they saw the numbers.
If the CDC were interested in rallying the numbers, let me be honest with you. Look, the CDC boasts for many years to be, like one of Liberia's biggest numbers. You control the apparatus of the state. What was stopping you from carrying it to the SKD? You carry in Conjusta, Morovia, where you put people in the streets. You saw them giving people $20 and so forth. How ATL is so tight. If you say you want to assemble people, ATL, I think, can hold less than. I stand to be corrected on this one. I think less than 12 to 15,000 persons. And you call that a showcase of Boyka? Come on, man. So their party loyalists will come in, they will seduce, they will give people cash, and you saw people at the gas station collecting 20. So when you say the rally people, so I said, where did that happen? You control the state. There should be no reason why you need to go write people again to use the SKD. Call the minister of youth and sports to open it for you. If you really want to show out your strength, take it to the SKD. We'll clap for you.
Yeah, and like you said, take it to the SKD. Larry, back then, the WIA administration, there was no way that they would call up a rally. They provide t-shirts for people. People used to print out their own t-shirts. People used to walk from Douala to the CDC HQ. People used to walk from places. But now this time around, they are printing t-shirts for people, transporting people. They are providing cash for people. And they still believe that they can change things around after serving for close to 6 years. Are they not seeing that things are not working in their favor anymore?
They don't get it, man, Boyka. They just don't get it, because 5.5 years into the administration, if you don't know maybe by the second or third year, whether you're going to be successful, 5.5 years into the administration is not going to help you, because worst case scenario, all of the economic numbers, the data that show that you're doing good, it's not going to come out until next year. So right now, anything that, because Liberia don't produce information on a monthly basis for you to see how well things are going. But a lot of the people that are coming out there, Darlington is right. Those people that are coming out there because some of them are being paid to come out there. Some people are coming out there out of curiosity. They want to come out there. But remember now, in Liberia, over 70% or around 70% of the poor people are in the rural areas. The people who are catching really, really hard time. It's bad in Monrovia, but it's even worse in the rural areas. So in Monrovia, people will come out. You know, Monrovia right now, the capacity of Monrovia is more than what, I mean, I think Monrovia is actually set up for maybe about 250,000 people. You have over 1 million people living in there. Some people will come out of simple curiosity, just out of curiosity. And they will be printing those t-shirts in order to give the optics, in order to give the impression that they are extremely popular. Bear in mind, there were 2 election cycles that went by that CDC didn't win. Yeah. Keep that in mind. Yeah, go ahead, Darlington.
No, go ahead, people. I said they were flocked.
Exactly. There were 2 elections where they didn't win. And the people then said, okay, you know something? Let's try something different. Let's bring this man in because he's from the grassroots. But the grassroots organization has not turned out to be even worse than the so-called elite. The grassroots now are the so-called elite. They're a flying private jet. Liberia, despite the fact that we have an abundance of rain, Monrovia is the rainiest capital in the world. People do not have good drinking water in Monrovia.
Yep.
And when the people do get sick, because diarrhea disease is one of the leading causes of death in Liberia, when people get sick, they end up going to some of the local hospitals, and the government officials now, the elite, they fly out of the country. People in Monrovia, unfortunately, God forbid, they get into an accident, they go to the local hospital, the so-called elite now, the grassroots, they fly to Morocco or they fly somewhere else to get treatment.
India.
They fly to India to get treatment. It's an absolute disgrace. So printing all that t-shirt and stuff, the people, look, man, if somebody needs some shirt or something to wear, they would definitely come out there and wear your t-shirt. But at the end of the day, it doesn't translate automatically into a vote. What ends up being the key issue for people to vote on will be their well-being. If Darlington doesn't have a job to feed his family, if Boycott, if George, if anybody who's watching this podcast doesn't have a job to feed their family, why would I go and vote for you? You can't give me I can't get a job to feed my family. What good are you? You're absolutely nothing to me. I need t-shirt. I will come and see. I will see your. I will come to your parade and get my t-shirt and go home. Doesn't mean I'm going to vote for you. But I mean, look, man, the people that really need to wake up. Liberia has no reason to be poor. No reason whatsoever. The only way we end up being poor is because of poor leadership. Nelson Mandela said this years ago. Africa is suffering from a leadership crisis. We end up putting the wrong people in power, and then we end up paying for it. And in fact, our presidency last 6 years is even worse. Yep. But yeah, man, you know, if people will come for a free t-shirt, it's pretty simple.
Larry said something. The big brother said, interestingly, in a democracy, every election have consequences. When you vote, is what you get. You see what is happening with this guy in 6 years. You know, the CDC people have this thing. They always say, since 1847, no president have done this one. Since 1847, we have not seen a president who flies private jet while the people in abject poverty. Since 1847.
Yep.
The people, the American Liberians that we condemned yesterday, they didn't do it. Here we are. Mr. George Weah comes to power. He makes these useless trips, go for safari all of the country. He stays there for close to 30 plus 45 days or so, leaves the country. You know, the legislature says, you know, the president basically, if he found why he's even in the country, he doesn't go to work. I know he worked virtually. He worked from home. He goes to work maybe 12 May Day, or maybe when the American ambassador summons him to see him, then he goes into work early. You can't run a country like that, Boyka. Look, the salon people say, Pekin see what Pekin do. Boyka, if you my boss man, you can't come to work. How you know when I come into work?
Sure.
No accountability. This guy is not interested. Sadly, he sees this presidency as a place where he will come and enjoy himself. They men were very broke Worker were in the country. The man will come to Monrovia and basically borrow a friend's car to use. Literally broke. He couldn't fly private jet when he was playing for Monaco or playing for Milan. But he comes to the Liberian presidency where our people are in destitution, poor people. Look, Bweka and Big Brother Larry, right? A country that cannot provide basic social services kills the spirit of the last blood of every of our compatriots. Look at that little boy who died along the RIA in an accident. I'm not saying it is the government, but when you don't have public safety measure, hey man, when we go to hospitals, the other day in JFK, somebody had to jump because they can't afford the hospital bill, wanted to run away. They drop and they die, they collapse. We can't give our people some hope, Bweka. And then you talk about building the infrastructure. You say you build 14 military. No, buildings don't provide services. Improve on what is happening. Improve on the already government structure you have. So that what happened to the JFK? How can get the people at the Ministry of Health resources that need to run the hospital? The other day in Basel, the generator don't even come on redemption. The same thing. Mommy, I saw a video of people doing delivery with flashlight in the 21st century, right in Nuku Town there at the Redemption Hospital. But again, the Liberian people, I think there's somewhere in the scripture that says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall see God." Our people see these things that this guy is living off their backs. He's enjoying, they are well taken care of, and they don't do anything about it. Maybe one could argue that the country have gotten to a point where, was small children, you won't go play, you carry a football on the field to play, but because you not make plow, everybody in the community, nobody want to play with you. The people are not talking. Maybe the people are just waiting for election day to take decision on Mr. Weah.
Yep, Darlington and Big Brother, you say to take decision that President Weah. Elections come with preparedness, and the opposition bloc, we should shine our light a little bit on them this morning, because they should be the hope for Liberians. They should be, putting themselves together wherein Liberians can depend on them. Like, oh, since we isn't doing better for us, since we have failed miserably, let's give this a try. Let's see this team. Let's see if we can work up with this team. But the opposition togetherness is another thing. Even though not everybody will unite in the opposition to have a new government, but there has been this cry for a unity in the opposition. The hope of the Liberians, they are still hoping on who they can depend on to take Liberia from the jokers.
And Larry, let me get you something. Brother Larry wrote something yesterday, interestingly.
Yeah, we'll come to that. Okay. Yeah, we'll come to that. So, how prepared is the opposition to take the mantle of authority from Weah? Darlington, I'll start with you.
Yes, that's true, Bweka, and I'm not going to be delusional, if you may, to say that the opposition is showing preparedness. I'm not going to be delusional. Elections are not just held on elections day, right? The ability of of key forces in opposition taking decisive measures, decisive steps on where they want the country to go will start to boost momentum of the campaign and show preparedness. Look, Bweka, you cannot go to a serious presidential election in the absence of mobilizing your support base, in the absence of mobilizing logistics. Let's come back home. I don't know how many people here watching me saw the podcast I made when the Unity Party lost in Lofa. For over 24 hours, the war room of the UP was not giving no data, no information.
Sure.
Because the people you send with the pool watchers' money, allegedly, somebody ate the pool watchers' money. Elections is about 5 to 6 months from now. If you want to move Mr. Weah from power, you must show political preparedness. And that is for Mr. Joseph Bweka, who is the major opposition. I hope he's listening to us. Look, Bweka, you must be decisive and decide and carve on an agenda. Whoever you want to pick. I'm not saying that some of us are under obligation when you pick whoever to support you. But you need to be decisive and take, positive and strict measures on where you want this country to go. Mobilizing logistics is very important. Look, you know why the CDC people can say they will get re-elected, Burger? They see the material condition of the Unity Party leaders. They see the party officials. They see how they are living. They see how they are even struggling on a day-to-day affairs or daily basis. You cannot go to a serious presidential election. You can manage. The reason why the opposition managed Mosserado County, because with the little resources and logistics that we had, we could basically pull watch the Dara Dillon campaign and ensure that we landed a victory. But in hard to reach places, Burger, when you cannot pay your pool washers, people will manipulate election results. So the opposition needs to start showing political preparedness. Mr. Burger, Mr. Cummings, whoever they are who want political power, they need to show preparedness. And because they are not doing so, that's why the opposition, the government have no opposition. The only person who checkmates this system when he's on the ground, when his boots is on the ground, and engage them, and that's why they happy. The more strategy they get to see Mr. Costa out of the country, Mr. We, I guess, complacent. If Costa is in the country actively on the radio, where all the community radio relaying his show, he hits them up. So that is why they get complacent, because you see, even the political parties, the census result was garbage trashed. What did the opposition political parties do? Nothing. Worker. Every day, the opposition, we are just noted for issuing statements. In a country like that, you must match your words with action. If you tell these people that you are not honoring this census report, you must rally your people and tell them to come out and show. That's why the American ambassador spoke the other day. Carpe diem, seize the movement.
Seize the movement.
Let me stop here, man, Worker.
Yeah, Larry, opposition togetherness and opposition preparedness towards the 2023 election. With just a few months to the elections, and up to now, Liberians are still hoping.
The government is a reactive government. They tend to react when somebody move the needle. In terms, what I mean is, if the opposition actually started, if they came together, and right now you're absolutely correct, and Darlington and a lot of people there, your viewers, they all know it. The opposition right now, they're not together, and you cannot win an election if you don't have that togetherness. If you don't come together, it's not going to happen. You take a look across Africa, even some of the most recent elections. You look at places like Zambia and other places. It was because the opposition decided, look, enough is enough. Let's come together and we'll make this thing happen. In the United States, you don't have about 25 or 30 different political parties running all amok. It comes down to two major political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. And despite all of the infighting and stuff, the Democrats, at some point, they always come out and put one unified statement. The sitting government is enjoying a free ride. They've been enjoying a free ride for, I would say, the past 5.5 years. Because simply, we don't have a strong opposition. And Darlington is right. The only person, the only voice, the true voice of the opposition is the radio show and business owner, Mr. Henry Costa. Costa is pretty much the only voice that's been standing up and speaking on behalf of the people. For years, he's been doing it. And the fact that he's been doing it for so long has led to his incarceration, led to him being jailed several times. What I was saying in my post is the truth, and a plain and simple truth, and it's based on facts. This government would stop enjoying this free ride if you have someone with a strong voice that would step up there, educate the people, someone who has the name recognition, someone who's the international community knows. All the major international papers have interviewed Costa, whether it's Al Jazeera, the BBC, the Voice of America, all these major organizations. They know who Costa is. And Costa speaks well. He is intelligent. Look, I've sat down with Costa and had conversations with him about the economy. I was shocked and impressed that Costa was relaying some of the things that I have, buried in my books, and in some of my writings. Costa knew that stuff up there. He said, look, this is how we fix the economy. This is how we improve the healthcare sector. I was sitting at his place one time with Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson's a former big CDC guy, and we sat there and Costa was laying out all these plans. And I was like, whoa, this guy knows the stuff he's talking about. So Costa right now, imagine whether it's Costa or, like I said, Taiwan Gonglu, but imagine someone like that. They will speak for the people. Why? Because we know we know historically he's been doing it. We can look at his record. He's been doing it. George Weah was never someone who was leading protests or standing up against the government and fighting. He was never that kind of person. So not everybody's going to like Costa. Granted, let's be realistic. Not everybody like George Weah. Not everybody going to vote for Costa. Not everybody will vote for George Weah. It's granted. But what we need right now is for the opposition to have a unified voice. Stand behind one person. Or even if you guys want to go separate ways, at least have a unified voice and speak on the issues in a unified manner. Because this government is having a free ride. The people are not being educated. And if they keep this up, you may end up allowing the government to spread the false messages, rig the elections, get away with it. And people will say, oh, we don't want war. All the while now, the elections have been rigged.
Yep.
You will have the government coming back to power again, and it will punish you people for another 6 years. And like one young lady said in a podcast, please do not call people in America to wire you money, because you are getting exactly what you deserve. Plain and simple. So I think right now, you put Costa somewhere in that mix. You put in that mix, this government will not sleep. They will not sleep at all, because if something happens, he would take the fight to them and he would let them know if there's a protest that needs to be led, there's something with the census, the rigging of the election, anything, Costa would take the fight to them.
Yep.
And you see, that's why I put that post out there. I think we need to consider Costa. And not everybody got to like him.
Let me just
seriously consider him.
Let me just squeeze in this point, right? With all due respect to Mr. Joe Boyka, who has experience, the old man is an aged presidential candidate. If you are going in the trenches to mobilize and rally the troops, you need youthful exuberance, somebody who will have the gravitas to rally the people. And the reason why, look, I listened to this whole, I don't want to dwell on this whole Costa for VP debate. It's because most of the people who are against Mr. Costa is not the ordinary people. It is the political elite. The political elite, the legs of Darlington Collins, who believe that they follow the politics of the day. They can come on Facebook and make analysis and checkmate certain people to say, who is this man to say he wants to be? He have no experience. But most of the people we support, where do they come from? You understand what I'm saying? The political elite, the regular secretary general in one party who feels, and that is how Liberians are, Boyka. There are many people who be in the media business. They say, but who they Boyka, but plenty people knowing all over the country. But they've been holding one tape recorder for so many years. They're in one newsroom for so many years. God knows when. That is a sense of entitlement. And I'm not saying it is their opinion. They have the right to not support Mr. Costa. That's fine. But take the microphone on the street to the ordinary people in the markets. Engage their perspective. Look, the people have been doing business with Mr. Costa for so many years. So the choice is Mr. Joseph Boyka to make. Nobody is shuffling Henry Costa down your throat. You have the right to decide who you want to pick. But I just told you, whatever you decide, so you talk about the international front. Look, I see a lot of things that's happening. Some things I know, Boyka. I may not say here this morning on the show. Some things that I know, I will not say here this morning on the show. So it is the traditional political elite who believe that they have more understanding. They will, sometimes, Costa have gone after them before. And it's unfair, though. Costa have attacked other people before in the past. So they believe now, that because he's been considered for VP, it is payback time. So they viciously go after him. They will say some of the worst things about him. And he will have a way of sometimes getting out of character, even on set. And that is why in the aged media, all these studios, they always have the light to remind people that they are on air. Because it comes with a whole lot of emotions, Boyka. My man, with all of the fighting and struggle we have been doing in the opposition, keeping government feet to the fire. So we are only good enough to go in the bush and gather the wood to make the fire up, or we can split the wood and dish up the food when it's done.
But Danita, let me come in real quick.
Yeah, brother, help me.
Let me come in real quick. So even though, so if Costa says or if he does something impromptu,
Right.
it's not always bad, because Costa was sitting 4,600 miles away in his residence in North Wilmington, Delaware, when he was able to mobilize the women in the country to prevent the CDC from arresting a young lady who had been molested, brutalized, and raped.
Yep.
And was at the hospital. That ability to do something at an impromptu moment, at the spur of the moment, and mobilize people through his ability to speak and communicate with the people, that's the kind of person you need on a campaign trail. And people shouldn't look at Costa's age and all that stuff, because one of the most popular presidents in the history of the United States was a 42-year-old Teddy Roosevelt. The popular president in France, well, he's unpopular because of his recent policies, but Macron was a very young man. He was still in his late 30s, early 40s when he became president.
39 years old, yep.
Exactly. So, and you had Teddy Roosevelt, who was about 42 years old. You had JFK, who was, I think, about 43 or 44. And then it goes on, President Obama, he was 47 years old. So when you have those, and you saw how when Obama hit the trail, how he was on the trail. Do not look at the person's age. Look at the intellect. Look at the ability to mobilize people, to influence people. Like my brother Bill Carson is saying over here, some people will vote on tribal lines. That's true. You're not going to get everybody to vote on the issues. Some people will vote based on their own political interest. It's true. Some people will say, okay, I'm from the Southeast, regardless of the fact that we don't have roads or anything coming in here, we don't have good hospitals, we have high unemployment rate, we will still vote on the tribal lines. Is their given right? But a lot of educated, smart, hardworking Liberians who understand the issues, they will vote on the issues because it's impacting them and it's impacting the family. So you have a small percentage of people voting on tribal lines, voting on all these other issues that are on the outside of the core issues, which is the economy. But you still have a majority of people who rejected CDC in 2 separate elections will come to the census now and say, look, we can't give this thing back to these guys, because if we saw the first year they were in, billions of Liberian dollars went missing, then they mop it up in such a bogus scam that ended up enriching themselves.
As they were mopping, the mop bucket was leaking with water.
It was leaking. They were using the US dollar now to wash the LRD, because you can't take Liberian dollars outside of the country and use it. US dollar is universal, right? So they were using the US dollar they got from the Federal Reserve Bank now to mop up all this thing. Remember, billions of Liberian dollars went missing the first year this government came into power. Over to you, Mr. Kamara.
Yeah. I just want to ask you this question. Your fair analysis. There have been few names put forth, or we are seeing few names in the corridor, and I saw a piece from you where you talk about the issue about sanction and on few other candidates, and you mentioned Tiawan Gongolo and Costa, and you there's just few things that you outline. I want your fair analysis in a few names: Tiawan, Nyombli, Costa, Jeremiah. What's your own position on a few names that have been outlined?
For as long as I've been hearing the name and reading about Tiawan Gongolo, the poor man's lawyer, Tiawan really stands out to me. Not only if he cannot be a VP pick, Tiawan will make a very good justice minister, or he'll make someone that will be very good sitting on the Supreme Court of Liberia, because the rule of law is so important. A lot of the issues you see happening in Liberia is because we have a lack of the rule of law. If you're a criminal and you want to get away with murder, go Liberia. If you want to get away with stealing, if you want to get away with corruption, go Liberia. Because when was the last time you saw the current Justice Minister Musa Dean prosecute anyone for something that we've seen blatant? Look at the University of Liberia boys that were terrorized and beaten up. What happened to that?
The U.S. Embassy, a foreign mission.
Yeah. What happened to that issue? You have one of the weakest and most lame justice minister of all times right now sitting over there. You look at the Ministry of Justice website, they still have the late Frank Giroux sitting on the website. Goes to show how ineffectual this current justice minister is so weak. So Tiawan Gongolo, I love the fact that he understands economics. He understands finance and economics. The fact that he understands the law. The fact that he stood up, and when he didn't see When he sees something that's going on wrong in the country, he will speak up. So a good justice minister or a good VP or a good Supreme Court justice, I would support Taiwan Gonglu. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him or speaking with him, but I follow him and I love what the learned counselor has been doing. You know, the only reason why I'm kind of skeptical about Jeremiah Kuhn is his association with Prince Johnson. Look, what people are not seeing is that when the U.S. government sanctioned Prince Johnson, they also sanctioned, and it's in the document, they also sanctioned his daughter and his wife. You don't see that stuff.
Oh, wow, they did? I didn't pick up on that.
The U.S. government did as well. So the key thing that people have to pay close attention to is his close alignment, his close association with Prince Johnson. If he can convince people that, look, Prince Johnson is not going to influence any of my decisions, I would be kind of skeptical of that because you've been working alongside him for such a long time. And people are saying, oh, we do need somebody from Nimba. Well, who was it from Nimba that helped Madam Salif win 2 elections? What her VP from?
Lofa.
Her VP for Lofa. So people shouldn't just say, oh, you definitely need someone from Nimba. Yeah, Nimba would be a nice to have, but it doesn't have to be a showstopper. So we don't necessarily need someone, you know, like I said, it would be a nice to have. But his alignment association with Prince Johnson should be of concern, should be a major concern to Liberia. And I'm not saying that, you know, he's doing something illegal, you know, but remember that Prince Johnson in the U.S. State Department report, when they sanctioned him, they mentioned specifically that he was actually receiving money from the government and laundering the money from the government, from government ministries. And that was the reason to sanction him. And Prince Johnson was saying, oh, let the U.S. government prove it. Look, listen, man, during the Cold War, the reason why the U.S. had good relationship with Liberia during the Cold War lasted 40 years. The U.S. government was using Liberia as a base to stop the spread of communism in Africa. So they set up all these technical systems to eavesdrop on people's conversation. They also used the VOA to spread American beliefs and ideas and values and democracy in Africa. That's why the American have very good equipment on listening to conversations. It's not by accident they were, you know, they got busted.
They set up the NSA, the intelligence arm of our country.
And who knows what kind of bugs they put in that place, right? I would not put it past them because they were the same one who were busted of tapping Angela Merkel's cell phone. How in the hell do you tap the chancellor's cell phone? I don't even know how they managed to do that. And Germany is not no third-rate country, but they managed to do it. So when you hear these guys then like the sanctioned former minister of state or, you know, Prince Johnson saying, oh, the American people are lying on them, they have no idea what the American government is capable of. The American government was capable of hacking into an iPhone. There were years ago, I don't want to get too far off the topic, just give me one more minute. Years ago, there was a shooting in San Bernardino, California, and the shooter, his cell phone, the FBI wanted to get inside that cell phone, but because Apple has such good encryption, they couldn't get into the cell phone. But the U.S. government managed to hack into that cell phone. When people locked down the computer system for the Colonial Pipeline in the U.S. and they were trying to steal money, the FBI was able to hack into a cryptocurrency account. Unheard of, but they did it. So don't put it past the FBI to be able to listen to conversations that Jeremiah Kuhn is having with Prince Johnson. It's not by accident they sanctioned Prince Johnson. So I'll be very careful. Don't start your administration on bad footings with the Americans. They pump hundreds and hundreds of millions into your country. Be very careful if you were to select someone like Jeremiah Kuhn because of his close alignment and association with Prince Johnson. It'll put you in a bad boat right off the top with the U.S. government. So that was some of the reasoning behind what I posted. You know, not going to get too far deep into it, but that's why I said Costa or Taiwan Gonglu. Take a close look at those two gentlemen.
Yeah, let's look at the female Nyambli. People may say, you know, you have to be gender sensitive. So Nyambli, what's your own take on Nyambli?
Oh, nothing absolutely against Yumbly. The fact that she's in the Senate and the fact that she has a record. So take a look at the 15 counties in Liberia and look at the development in the different counties and see where Grand Bassa come out in terms of Human Development Index. Take a look at it because you don't just judge somebody based simply on your subjective beliefs. Let's look at some hard numbers. How well is Grand Bassa doing in terms of when you look at the 15 counties? Let's use that to measure how well Yumbly's doing. Yeah, definitely. Women make a slightly more than a majority, the population of the country, slightly more. So it helps having someone like Yumbly in your camp as well. But in terms of my support over Costa or Taiwan Gonglu, at this point in the game, I would not say I would discount Yumbly because she brings something to the table, but I don't see so much in terms of her bills and policies. And having had the pleasure of a conversation with her, or hear her discuss how to grow the economy, how to create jobs in Grand Bassa or other places. So I will kind of reserve that until I hear more from Yumbly.
Darlington,
before you ask me, let me ask you a question. Before you ask me a question, in these kinds of national conversation, and I want all of your traditional political activists or whoever they are to come and pretty much convince me. We must be sincere with ourselves. Where is this name Jeremiah Kun popping up in these kinds of conversation? The last time I heard that name was when he was the CDC candidate in Nimba County, bankrolled by the CDC in Nimba. So you just concerned about you think when he comes with the opposition, he's going to sweep the votes in Nimba? You think it's a roller coaster ride? Mind you, Nimba also have a son in the race. Councillor Gonglo is contesting. And Bweka, as a student of political science, there could possibly be many prominent sons of Nimba to render Nimba insignificant and to split the votes in Nimba. Mama, do you know who is Edith Gongo where in Nimba County? I follow the electoral numbers. Do you know, even though she lost in Nimba, she acquired more votes than Yombly did in Bassa?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know whether she's able to catapult the votes to that of her brothers, Councillor Gonglo vote, but he's a well-respected son in Nimba. But I'm saying this to say to you, Bweka, how we even discussing Jeremiah Kun, who was just supported by the CDC the other day? You really looking for agents of the government? You really looking for who is covertly working for the CDC? And you don't want to send accusing fingers at Mr. Jeremiah Kun? Follow his track record in the Senate. On the record, when this man addressed the media, disagree. Mame, let me put it in a simple librarian parlance. Did Jeremiah Kun and Joe we had an ever make plow before he saying you're not supporting it? Did not make plow?
No.
No. I want to be realistic. So look, and that is why I see all of these things as happening. They may no plow. The people of Nimba, the only person that they have shown that they are resolved in giving their presidential support to, if it's not Prince Johnson, Nimba is a place that anybody else can go and campaign. Mr. Joseph Boga is very popular in Nimba. Mama, listen, Julius J did a survey. He went to Nimba. He took his microphone to Nimba. And 9 out of every 10 person he interviewed, they told him that they will support Joseph Boga in Nimba County. So I'm not saying that Mr. Kun is not relevant. I'm not saying that you can tap on Mr. Johnson's support, but Larry just told you must be sensitive to international politics. That's the dynamics. The Americans are saying that sanctions official people should not be doing business with them. So you think if Prince Johnson go to discuss with Omer Burger, you think they're doing business? They accuse Mr. Prince Johnson for pay to play. Pay to play. Why you think now, this time, Mr. Prince Johnson may not want to support Mr. Weir? I'm not saying you can get his support. But let's be honest here, my people. They Jeremiah Kun men, when have they men ever been with y'all to struggle in this opposition camp? Hey man, worst case scenario, let's say all the pick them they need and are popping up. I think Yombly said I've been up more. If we want to be sincere and honest. Where did Jeremiah comment that the CDC people told you when we used to attack the CDC people, why you are not featuring a candidate in Nimba? They told you clearly on the record that our candidate is Jeremiah Kun. We support Kun. So, again, it's upon Mr. Joseph Boyka. I'm sure he's an experienced man, far more experienced as I am. He gets to
but
decipher and pick what he wants to do.
Guys, we need to look at the issue about the United Party. Even though Ambassador Joseph Nimba Boakai need to be given a chance to pick the person that he want to work with, but here comes the United Party. They have a position to make. They will be behind Joseph Boakai to support him, to rally the people to vote him. So they themselves to need a voice, and other collaborating political parties also to need a voice. So if the United Party can be given a chance to make a decision in a VP pick for JMB, and then JMB picks somebody that they are not in favor of, that becomes another problem that will be holding from now up until the election time. So I think where I'm sensing the sticker issue is between who JMB want to pick and who the party is putting forth to JMB.
And that's why a leader, one of the trends of a good leader must be decisive. Worker, if you call somebody your leader, you must believe their judgment. I'm not saying you can question their judgment. That's why political leadership and preparedness come into being. Worker, even in a home, it's good now that you're married. Sometimes you want to cook pan butter, your wife says she want to cook a grumpy soup. There will be competing priorities. Your ability to tell a woman, say, sweetheart, I beg you, today I got taste for grumpy soup. And for you, or I got taste for pan butter. It's your ability to talk your woman into cooking pan butter that what made you the hair of that home. And that what made her the neck. Because you the hair, you have the ability to turn the neck in any direction, the hair, the neck, you turn it in that direction. Mr. Booker needs to go tell the people, again, whoever he wants to pick, if he wants to pick whoever, let him call the people and tell them as it is. Booker, there will be competing priorities, mind you, in the Unity Party. There are remnants of the Salif, the people who are loyal to Mr. Salif, who they get in the Unity Party, their loyalty is not to Joe Booker. Any executive committee meeting, they report straight to Madam Salif. They tell her everything that going in the party. Oh yeah, Madam Salif is a political woman. She retired from politics, but she's not in the convent. She don't have no such interest in being in the convent. She's a political person. And Madam Salif has said that insofar as she's around, Mr. Booker will not be. There are remnants of the Madam Salif, people who are loyal to Madam Salif, who are still in the Unity Party. Could there possibly be impediments to critical decision? So Booker cannot decide, Papa. So if Booker can tell a woman which soup he feel like cooking, then it's a leadership problem. But again, he's been around, so the onus is upon him. In 2017, let me go back again, Booker. His pick for vice running mate was not a very good pick. The name James Emmanuel Nukwe in the then legislature of Speaker Tyler was in almost all corruption allegations in that country. If Nukwe not eating Chevron money, he eating Block 13 oil money, he was just in fact the word Nukwe was synonymous to oil eating money. When he said Nukwe, just say Nukwe in Pele, I think what I mean. Nukwe it mean to eat oil money. He picked Nukwe.
It mean he will be someone.
Yes. It mean let me stop here, man.
Yeah, bro, Larry, let's look at the Unity Party. The same question. Unity Party getting involved in the selection of a running mate to JMB.
Well, they need to be involved. I mean, he's running as head of the ticket, but Darlington just pretty much said a lot of the things I was going to say in terms of the pick in 2017. But Unity Party needs to be involved. Unity Party hasn't been involved in terms of leading or standing up to a lot of the nonsense that's been going on right now. We haven't seen a lot of the press releases or press conferences or speaking out and speaking up against some of the vices, some of the things that are going wrong in the country. They've been very lame on that, right? So, but they still needs to be involved and put their 2 cents or put that on give their input into that whole decision because he's running as head of the ticket, right? But bear in mind, you need, and some people are saying, I like what Blamo Tool just put in the comments when he said a leader cannot please everyone, and that's true. If you try to please everyone, you're going to end up not pleasing yourself or not pleasing the people. And another thing too, an essential quality of a good leader is the ability to judge well. There's this book out there called The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader by an author called Maxwell. And Maxwell used something called discernment, the ability to judge people well. So when you're selecting your VP candidate, and this is important, you see, the decision I think needs to be made now, even though if you look at some of the elections, let's say like in the US, a lot of the vice presidential candidate are not named until maybe like 90 days before the election. But in this case, it's a little bit different. It needs to be done early because you need someone hitting the campaign trail right now and educating the people. You see, during when VP Boycott was still with Madam Sirleaf, it was VP Boycott that went over he made a speech, I believe, at the United Nations appealing for the debt forgiveness because Liberia had over $4 billion or so in debt. So the VP would end up doing a lot of the traveling, the legwork, traveling for funerals and things of that sort. And you need a young person in that shoe. Somebody who has the strength, the ability, who speaks extremely well, who is well learned. That's the kind of person you need in that place right now. Somebody who can speak the Queen's language. You know what I mean? So that's why I said, Costa would be a very good person to consider, Taiwan Gonglu. Because those people then they're able to communicate, they're effective communicators. But yeah, Boycott, to answer your question, United Party needs to be involved. They can give their 2 cents, their suggestions, because he's running on the ticket. So definitely.
Okay, folks, so we are still here on the Costa Morning Show, and Bibra Larry Kennedy is here with us this morning. We are shining our light on the VP pick of JMB, but we are yet to hear any name for Mr. Alexander Cummings, the ANC. They are quiet. It's like nothing is happening. They are just relaxed in the entire process. There haven't been any name put forth for the ANC that I know of. Like the way people are so eager to know the running mate of Joseph Newman Boakai, that's not how people, are showing that much concern when it comes to Minister Alexander Cummings. And he's in a race. He's referred to himself as a formidable force that is in a position of unseating George Manewia. But yet, there haven't been anything. There haven't been any sound that this is the person that is going to serve as a running mate to Mr. Alexander Cummings. And his entire team, they are so quiet on this, but they are more focused on the VP pick of Joseph Newman Boakai. So have there been any name in a corridor that you know of that Mr. Alexander Cummings will be taking as running mate, Bibelo Larry?
I haven't heard anything. And they're taking that kind of wait-see attitude. The wait-see attitude in this kind of race is not the best because people want to see leadership. So it doesn't matter, come out there and make your name. But I know somebody, I don't like to be extremely critical without offering some suggestion or recommendations, especially when it comes to the ANC. But we have seen some of the decisions made by the ANC hasn't been the best, just how United Party having made some very good decisions. Having someone like Louis Brown out there as your front person is not, sometimes you don't want to shoot the messenger, but sometimes you have to consider who the messenger is that's trying to explain things to people and look at their background. We've seen Musa ability be the voice so many times because of his close alignment and association with ANC. And we know historically Musa ability has very close association with the CDC government. Kind of explains why some of the money that he's taking or he owes hasn't been paid. And the fact that he was sanctioned by an international body and suspended by the same body that George Weah believes in, FIFA. It tells you a whole lot about his credibility. Wasn't he the same ability at one time saying that he was going to be the VP to Mr. Cummings? Wasn't he running around?
He gave Mr. Cummings an ultimatum. He gave him an ultimatum.
Yeah, what happened to that ultimatum? So I don't know. But they haven't been saying a whole lot. But I would think that ANC shouldn't wait for United Party to make their pick, show some leadership as well, step up there, put some names out there. But you know why people are struggling to find names? People are struggling because when you look at the society as a whole, and that goes back to something I've been saying all along, that we need to start training and educating the young people right now, the 5, the 6, the 7-year-olds right now, in terms of ethics and in terms of moral beliefs, so that by the time they grow up, when they hit age 20, age 25, it will not be so hard to find a very good, decent person to put into politics. Because right now, when you look, and you see, you can't find, there are no saints in Liberia. You're not going to find someone that would be extremely clean. Everyone's going to have some baggage or some issue, right? But people are struggling right now because a lot of the people whose names are popping up, they have some very shady past. Having someone like Toga McIntosh, go look at Matt's Brewer, the whole thing about ambassador. What's that Toga McIntosh that invented the whole thing about selling diplomatic passport? I mean, they were caught on video, right? So you have to wonder, who people are bringing into their camp. You have to look at their background. And it's so difficult to find a clean person in Liberia. You're not going to find one. So stop looking for one, but take some leadership. Put your name out there. Let people start kicking it around a little bit and see where it leads. But I haven't heard anything.
Darlington, before you come in,
right?
Yeah, Darlington, before you come in, Darlington, Bibra Larry, this should send a message. It should send a sound to Mr. Cummings. So should we say that he's not that much relevant, or should we say he's playing a card? He want to see who would Joseph Newman Boaka pick, and then he can go among the names that have come up from JMB. He can go among the same people there and take somebody. But this is the message that should be sent out there. People are yearning. People are so eager to know the pick of JMB, but they are not that much curious to know the pick of Alexander Cummings. Should they send a message that his importance in our body politics, or since Unity Party, the ALP, and other folks left the CPP, the entire story about Mr. Alexander Cummings has died down? Do you think so?
I agree with you, Boyka, 100%, because people are considering Mr. Cummings as a non-factor. That's why they're not focused on his VP pick. And I know that ANC people will run, sing, holler, dance, run that whole thing around the country yelling. But people just not see him as a viable option right now by himself. And that's why they're not really saying, okay, we want to see who his pick would be, because the people are more focused now on JMB, because they see him, JMB, as the person who is most likely to remove George Weah from power. So you're right. I would agree with your analysis, Boycott, that the people are not looking for Cummings's VP pick because they don't see him as a serious threat to Mr. Weah. And I would say this. I personally don't believe that Cummings can defeat George Weah. And if you know me, when I say that, I'm saying it for some very good reasons. I'm saying it for some very good reasons why I don't believe that Mr. Cummings, as it stands right now, by himself, can defeat George Weah. Not going to happen. No matter how you cut it, I can't see it happening whatsoever. If the ANC people want to talk to me in private, I can tell them exactly why it is that I'm saying what it is that I'm saying. And trust me when I say this. Okay? So, yeah, to your point, Boycott, they don't see Mr. Cummings right now as a serious threat to Weah. That's why his VP pick is not... It's not going to make major news.
You want to come in there so we can take some calls?
Just before you go to your lines, you asked a question, Boyka. Why? Mr. Boyka wants to make a decision, but he's concerned about people in the Unity Party. And yes, I think that the people in the Unity Party view should be considered. But Boyka, let me bring you back home. The name Henry Costa managed his way to prominence, earned his way to prominence. Off the backs of exposing the excesses of the Sirleaf administration for 12 years. So you think people who are in the party, who are loyal to Mr. Sirleaf, you think now that, Costa have an ambition, or the vice president is possibly considering Mr. Henry Costa, do you think they would throw roses at Costa's feet?
Nope.
They must be joking. They will fight viciously. And that's why I say here, I challenge anybody who's listening to this. The ordinary people in the trenches, in the slum community. Look, Like him or hate him, Costa Nim have traveled to places in the rural areas that where he have never gone. The people are yearning to see Mr. Costa. And that's why certain elements are afraid and they are jittery. Even in Nimba, Bwaka, and I want to put it as a challenge. Even in Nimba, let Mr. Costa announce that he will be in Ganta City. He will be going to Ganta to meet up with young people. Let the other people in Nimba City organize a rally, see who will put a lot of attraction. And somebody say, oh, Costa lost in district number 6. He couldn't win one district. Look, Bwaka, legislative elections, constituent base. My man, the people can know Larry Kennedy. He has best ideas if Larry have not worked with those people in that district. Larry go to Larry. That is the same thing happened to Costa in district number 6. Bwaka, you will be on the radio as popular as you think you will be. Go in your district and don't be working. I mean, with the people from day one all the way to election, the people will not support you. Legislative election is personal to the people. Costa is a national political actor. His name have traveled places where he have never been before, and that is a special grace. The people all over the country are yearning to see Mr. Costa. If anybody wants to challenge that, we'll explore possibilities of rallying the base. Thank you, Bwaka.
And let me say one thing, Bwaka, before I leave, because I got to head out real quick, and you can start taking calls.
Okay.
If you want to see this election get fired up, if you want to see a lot of momentum in the Bwaka camp, put Costa on the campaign trail. Who has been talking and been pissed off about the shenanigans going on with the census? The craziness is the people are increasing it. I mean, they're doing things openly. They're doing things that is so fraudulent, so crazy, so blatant. They're doing it openly. Why? Because they're not afraid of anyone. Put Costa on the campaign trail. The number of people that are saying that voters on the census that increase in the Southeast, that's nonsense. Costa will not let that thing slide. Look at Costa was talking about what the action is going to take against the NEC. Put him on the campaign trail and you see how the dynamics in this whole election changes. You may not like him, you may not love him, but one thing is for sure, he's going to put some fire on a few people and he's going to make this election fair as much as possible. But I will listen to you take some calls, man, because I got to hop in and head over to the office. Thanks so much, guys.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's B-Roll Larry Kennedy. And
nice with you, man, this morning.
Thank you so much, B-Roll Larry Kennedy. Darlington, we need to take some calls on 0770 102 102 086 010 383 555 102 102. Those in the diaspora, the WhatsApp number is +231 888 624171. We have made our analysis already, and you are left to do yours. You can agree or disagree with us. So we are here. So place in your calls. Let's take this first person here. Good morning.
Good morning, Bwaka.
Yeah, Johnson.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the show this morning. Let me say good morning to the panelists. We raised a very cogent questions. While we are so concerned about the running mate of GMB and no Henry Coast, and no Mr. Alexander B. coming. Let me say this. Of all those names that are available to Mr. Bwaka, one particular name that Mr. Comey can be so desperate to have, one particular name I emphasize is Senator Nubi Kanka Lawrence. Because you know what?
No.
Comey is desperate to get Liberty Party in whole. And believing that when he gets Liberty Party in whole, then his political ambition will be resuscitated. He can't mess for anybody. He didn't come in when I Jemaco, he had not gone to Jemaco and that millions of dollars behind the scene and get Jemaco or even the Erecosa. And let us not be mistaken. People mistaken. Mr. Comey covered the entire country, 2017. Yes, Mr. Comey, he had not resonated in the trenches of our country. So we put a big fight and say, because I want to protect, so we are going to the trenches. So we are ready to get even cross to Ritano. You are not be mistaken.
Okay.
We are not reached that level yet.
All right. Thank you so much.
You must say that people can watch YouTube, they can watch Facebook. My man, the urge for Facebook in the county is more than the one in Monrovia. The urge for Facebook in the counties is more than the one in Monrovia. I beg you, yeah.
Let's take some more calls on 0770-102-102. Let's take this person here. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah, come on, Kai.
Oh, this is Bobby Abu Mensa.
Bobby,
I call from the HTC on SD Cooper Road.
I mean, yeah, come on, always sunny the scene.
Yeah, thank you. Boga, let me appreciate your guest this morning for the show. Boga, we should come to the debate drinking some bad. Listen, we all are fighting for one goal. And the one goal is to make the Bugadinso a wanting president. It must be done constructively. It says that every Liberian will welcome the vice president that Omen Broker with you. And that vice president that we all looking at is Senator Yombli Kanga Lauren, who is suitable for that position. Listen, everybody will come to the disco broker with their own authority. Then the people coming with Costa, they are still just saying, you don't even know about Yombli. Well, he is not following the same Yomblis in the country. You don't follow Yomblis for the Senate up to now. There's 210 senators who are one over 1 minute in a country. Then you people is trying to play a game with people like Costa. No, we are not disrespecting Costa. We respect Costa. We respect your love, but nobody should sit on the platform and try to disrespect people that say the Lord.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
In the Banga for so many years.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Let's take another person on this line: 0770-102-102, 886-010-383. 555. Let's take this person. Good morning. Okay, we just messed up on our call. You can place in your calls. Those in the diaspora, the WhatsApp number is +231 888 624171. Yeah, +231 888 624171. Good morning.
Good morning, bro. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Your name is joining us from?
I know where I'm Ayuba S. calling from Cross Street.
Welcome, Ayuba.
I know where there's a whole moment before our conference and everyone of
and
protect our nation. The coming election, the one that go get all the God the cooler that one for Nigeria. My brother, let me tell you something about Costa, yes? I love Costa. I really love him. He's an educated man. He's a son. You know, he's good. He's good. I love him so much. But my brother, you see this country, they will discuss that, bro. They will discuss that, bro. The only problem I get with Honorable Costa, this is the whole of my don't want to go in politics. Let Honorable Costa try and also make majority in himself. That president is the president. He could try and also make majority in himself. But look, I don't have a problem with him. He's good. He's an educated man. But then he just try and also make majority in himself. That all that never argue with him. But I have no problem with him.
Okay.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's take somebody from the diaspora on this line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name is joining us from?
This is James calling from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, I want to get my brother Darlington, when you were making an analysis with Jeremiah Kuhn and Prince Johnson, you should also make an analysis with Costa and Benin Ayure, because you were also saying somebody by UN and America too with armed deal. So how do you clarify between both of these groups? If you say Benin Ayure and Jeremiah Kuhn is close to Prince Johnson, what about Costa, who is also close to Benin Ayure, who have problems too with the Liberian people?
Okay, so thank you so much. Now take Darlington, you want to because I don't know.
No, take the call. The thing is,
because
take the call.
I have asked Benin, you have made that thing clear here over and over, so I don't really need to answer that type of question. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah,
yes, Alonso S. Lobo call from Firestone.
Welcome, sir.
Always listening up when I call. You know, I am a silent movement, and always we carry the name of Costa, even going in our homes in one country. But now the public is making a decision that we will want him to take a decision that will be very fine for us, because we don't want to see the man over us. Me, I'm a fan of Costa, but I would not really like for him to
to me in that direction because somehow I registered for Mike Givey to go to most to get to vote for him.
Okay. All right.
Get to vote for him as a senator.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's take this person from the diaspora. Good morning.
Good morning, Boaka, and good morning, Attorney Towns. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Welcome.
All right. To the issue. It's not about Henry Kosa. It's not about Tawan Gongo. The issue is about the Liberian people. We all have to sit down and write around old paper. If the paper choose to carry Henry Kosa, it left for him. Nobody had an authority to tell him, oh, yeah, don't carry Henry Kosa.
Sure.
If he choose to carry Tawan Gongo, it left for him. The fact is that it's not about Henry Kosa, it's about unseating the president of Liberia, George Manuel Weah. We have to come together and put our idea together and say this is about Liberia, this is not about individual. Let's work together and see how best we can have the best for our nation. Now, we sit and watch until the papi pick his running mate before he go and more. They may have been something inside to pick a more.
Why are you making it?
But that's the strategy the man playing. He's not rushing, but he's taking his time to see who the papi will pick as a running mate.
Use close to where?
Just my quick I want to get you. Have a good day.
Okay.
God be with you.
Okay, Dalinda, you're coming in there.
My man, the callers can make me laugh when they say the comments is waiting. A general when for Boaka to try on some clothes or shoe, and then when he want, then pull it to the side, then comments go pick from inside. Hey man, I'm not do Ellis comments like that. I beg you, please. You know, but again,
let's take a few more calls. Yeah, Darlington. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, your name is joining us from?
I call you around the community in Kingsville.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I want to tell you, Darlington, you know the thing about it is that we need to bring confusion. If you take a start with anybody who you want the woman to carry, you don't have to criticize anybody who you think you're going to choose. I got an issue with it with initially I was supporting Nyombi Kanga Bond. I see a confusion coming if all the women decide to choose Nyombi Kanga. Because officially the other party is in Russia with AMC. So coming they say United Party taking Nyombi Kanga and may bring confusion because United Party you're not be able to use the emblem for the other party. And if Nyombi is willing to resign from the party for the other party, then I think the woman could choose her. Okay. But to take Nyombi Kanga now and put on the party or United Party ticket, it will be tough for United Party.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Let me take somebody from the diaspora. Is it good morning?
Good morning to you, Baka, and good morning to everyone in the studio, and good morning to the Liberian people.
Basobo,
good morning to you, Baka. Yeah. My name is Basobo, and I'm calling for a new destination right now. Baka, good morning to you. Are you hearing me?
You're loud and clear. Go ahead, Basobo.
Yeah, Baka, you know, say all these things that we are doing, coming. Coming there waiting for the bad play. You know, say when all the people that will go fishing, they won't remain. Now they want the other people, the boy carry small canoe. Will catch that one.
So coming, Basobo,
listen to Darlington.
Are you saying that
Jose Imambwaka to go and take his vice president? And I know
Jose
Imambwaka is going to take. You know, Jose Imambwaka is a man of wisdom. Bwaka will say something.
No, Jack conclude. But Darlington can Jack conclude.
Yeah, Jose Imambwaka is a man of wisdom. He will take the best among all the others. He will take the best, and that best is for the interest of the Liberian people. We are coming so that we can unseat this useless and unfaithful president who has caused our country damage. Okay. Waka, thank you to the Liberian people and thank you very much this morning.
All right. Thank you.
No, you stop the thing. Let's come in now. Somebody will go clean when they finish fishing it. The people finish taking the beef, then they say, "Go clean the fishing net." You know, when the people haul the kino up, Boyga used to live Nickel Town, right? So
yeah,
when the fishing net come on shore, you know, the beginning there says, "Mama, y'all want small free to go dry it." They will picking it. We'll go in the dry net. We'll go start checking. No, y'all not do that kind of thing. You shouldn't do that kind of thing. I'm not sure considering people that Boyga is considering.
Okay, we take 2 more calls, then we come back on this line. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Bokai.
Yeah, welcome. Your name, where joining us from?
Bokai, this is Bari A. Tarawadi. I'm calling from New York.
Welcome, Mr. Tarawadi.
Watertown, New York.
Welcome.
Yeah, so Bokai, I just want to make it clear that nobody disputing the fact that Henry Costa have never been part of the struggle or he has not contributed. That is undebatable. This guy has fought for the opposition. He has been there for the Unity Party and the lack, of Yombly. But the issue here is that we're talking about winning. So for people to come and criticize, Mr. Kuhn because Yombly been around and now they want to go with Kuhn, I think it's unfair. And the panelists in there, that's why you're trying to portray to the audience. So should we say that because Gray and Koji, those guys fought for the CDC? So should we say that, so because they fought for the CDC, that means that they should be VP to George? We are no.
Okay.
So if anybody who loves Costa and Honest, we should not be discussing about Costa VP position. No, that's really unfair, gentlemen. Let's be fair here.
All right, thank you so much. Let's take the last caller, then we can. Darlington probably may want to respond to that. Let's take this person. Good morning. Good morning. On the WhatsApp number. Good morning. Okay, we mess up on our caller. We take somebody from back home. Let's take this caller here. Good morning. Hello. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Evelyn. Good morning. On the WhatsApp number. Okay, that person isn't ready yet. I don't know what's happening. Let's take this one. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, welcome.
Good morning. Okay, this is Harrison Sosa. I'm calling from the state of New Jersey.
Welcome, bro.
I just want to throw in my views on this vice presidential issue. I know Henry Costa very well. He knows me very well. We chat and stuff like that. And Henry is somebody who always talk about, God's indulgence in whatsoever he's doing. And I respect him for that. Let us not politicize the whole thing. Even I had a dialogue where I said, listen, if it is you, let it be. If it is XYZ, let it be. And we talk on that. But I'm kind of concerned as to why the Liberian people, are so hot in this presidential issue about Joseph Mboka. And this has never happened in history, where choosing the vice presidential candidate, has become so alarming. And, whether it is Joseph Mboka, it is Henry Costa, whether it is Yombly, or if it is Harrison Sosa or Darlington. So let it be. We shouldn't politicize it in so high. Okay. And people are saying, if Henry Costa is not chosen, yeah, he is popular. I love the guy. He's a kind guy. He is influential. But, let us focus and listen as to who Joseph Mboka will be choosing. Okay. So, in as much I would love to see Henry Costa as Joseph Mboka's running mate. Equally so, I would love to see Yombly as Mboka running mate. All right. And the guy from Nimba as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Big Bro Harrison Sosa. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yep, your name is joining us from.
Finally got a female.
My name is Orita Kakonia calling from Minnesota.
Orita, welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much, Boaka. I don't usually call on a show, but a running mate business I really been my concern. I really love Costa. All my family teach me that Costa is my son. But we support Costa to be a senator. At least he entered in the government. Costa is really supportive for Liberia. He's doing a lot of things for Liberia. And we really love him. What Costa doing as a young boy, most of the older people that have been in the government in Liberia has not done even a 25% of it. But let him get into this government in this senatorial position. We will support it. So hard through prayer, everything, and Costa going to be a senator. But I'm not supporting being a running mate to Joseph Boaka.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's our last caller. Darlington, there have been a lot of views, cross-section of views.
You know, let me say this, Boaka. To those who are genuine and sincere about how they want Mr. Costa to, go about his politics, I respect those kinds of people. Like the caller who just left the line. But let me say to some of our people that they have been misinformed along the way. People are presenting this conversation as if the Costa is raged about wanting to be vice president. No. Again, Liberians in and out of the country have called on Mr. Costa and have put forth his name to Mr. Joseph Boaka to contest as vice running mate to him. Again, Costa went to Monrovia. The people asked him to contest the Senate. He said, well, let me tell you something about going to the legislature. It's a good thing to go to the legislature. But if you don't have the proper executive worker, you will go to the legislature many days. You will just be there after legislative section. You'll be on the pavement disagreeing with lawmaker, or maybe they will not even put your issue on the agenda. So if people are saying, Costa cannot be vice president, do you know that the vice president is technically a de facto senator? The office of the vice president is hosted at the Capitol building. He is co-equal with his colleagues in the Liberian Senate. He is the president of he or she is the president of the Liberian Senate. You say Costa he's not fit to be vice president, but he said, oh yeah, my man will beg you, just go in the Senate. Some of the people who are sincere, I respect them. But some of the people who are saying this on the basis of political insecurity, and one of our listeners call it Costaphobia. Some of them who have Costaphobia, and they are jittering here and crying baby, that they don't believe that this young man, look, let me tell you something, Boaka. It is only good fruits that attract the most stones. My man Costa has been through the worst. People have said all types of things about him. He has been here, managed to gain attraction across the heart and soul of the country and the Liberian people. So here we are. The country will have the opportunity to decide. But let me put this in context. When do you want to build your country, or when do you start disagreeing or understanding that the current administration is not doing well? We are all here in opposition, Boaka. Do we hear at some point in time Jeremiah Kun stating his disagreements? I'm not saying go do it the way Honorable Yege call back and do it. That you see that the wheels of governance is not going right, that you want to put it right. So we only go to expose the excesses of the administration in opposition. But when it's time for political power, the hypocrisy of some people who fear Costa says to all, we just want win, so you just allow Jeremiah Kun to take the pass. And Jeremiah was in high school. You won't use the bathroom, or just get the pass because you won't go use the bathroom. No, Boaka. And let me say this on the record. All my people here listening, my name is Darlington Collins. An attempt, I'm not saying all the other people that are in the league for considering for VP. If Mr. Boaka Peace Jeremiah Kun, Darlington Collins, we're not supporting him. And not that I will not only support him, I will viciously attack the Joseph Boaka campaign. I want to be here and say on the record, all the other people who want to be vice president, he had the luxury of time to go and pick among them that his business will support it. But we cannot be here and you be endorsing agents of the system, people who the CDC bankroll and supported in Nimba. Then I bring people cry here and say, who is the CDC candidate in Nimba? The CDC told you that candidate was Kun. So you want us we are only good for political engagement. You want to? No, I will not settle for that. I have survived in opposition for many, many years. I'm okay. I live a life that I'm comfortable with certain things and not just carry away. Mr. Boaka had the luxury of time to look at Mr. Costa for running mate, to look at Mr. Gonglo, to look at Sister Yombli Kanga. For an attempt to bring that individual that you're talking about here, because you say you want the Nimba vote, watched it. And today is the 10th of April. There will be a power play in Nimba. Many other sons of Nimba will emerge in the process. So, again, people who are sincere about how they feel about Mr. Costa and how he goes about his politics, And it's okay for people to disagree with Costa, and we welcome these kinds of disagreements. But we cannot be here fighting in opposition, and the only thing you settle for is you think that you will present any ticket to us and shove it down our throat and we accept that. That is not going to work. That is not going to work. And they are putting the puppet on a false impression. It is his opportunity to decipher and look through what is happening. We love our country. It's all of us country. I'm not saying we love Liberia more than the other people do. But you are really looking for agents of the CDC, people who the CDC supported. Jeremiah Kuhn was an agent of them. His campaign was bankrolled by the CDC. I will not be the traditional you people. Oh, Mame Dalino, don't attack Kung, why the Babe Pikung. Look, the Babe Pikung, when you get power, my eating pena in your house. I would never come to your house and say, I have breakfast. Never. So the option is theirs. The choice is theirs. They need to decide what they want. We call on Mr. Bweka to do what is right and do the needful. The Liberian people deserve better and the quality of leadership that they have. Some people are saying, "Oh, Mr. Costa, we don't want you to go in the Senate." Well, we want you to go to be vice president of Joe Bweka because there is a particular reason to that. And some people believe that he should go to the Senate, to get an experience in public service, and that is okay. People who are sincere will accept those kinds of criticism. But look up many of the people you send to the legislature. Where do they come from? What do they bring to the national discourse? So thank you, Bweka. Maybe you have something else to say.
Yeah, Darlington said it all, and we are observing, and for us, we are giving the old man a chance, the opportunity to make that decision, and we will support him. The boy is in the old man court. Liberians just need to stop playing the politics with the vice presidency pick. Let the old man do his own thing. Let me see who he think is capable of working with. Let not coerce him to do something that tomorrow he start to regret. So there is nothing much like we've been saying here on the show every day. Let's allow the old man to do or select who he want to pick. Once he do that, once he go about doing that, anybody that come forth will support the person. So that is a nice day here this morning on the show. We will be back here tomorrow. I don't know whether you will be with us.
It was a good show, Bweka. I mean, this Monday presentation was good.
Sure.
Yes, it was very good. Martina was sitting tomorrow. I will not be here on the show. I'll probably come on the last end of the week. I'll let you know, Chief.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, brother.
All right.
All right, so folks, we'll go home on today's edition of the show. Join us tomorrow. We'll be back here at 10:30 with a brand new edition. Up until then, Darlington Collins, Bweka Kamara, and we have Bibera Larry here with us this morning, chipping in. It's bye-bye from our end.